Child, just when I thought we had moved on from all the drama involving Brian McKnight and the death of his estranged son Nico, sources are now reporting that it's only gotten worse, and Brian continues to blame Nico's mother, Julie McKnight, for the death.
To the self-proclaimed mama bear, may God have mercy on your soul for not allowing him to accept that help and not allowing him to use that line of communication. There is great comfort in knowing God knows the truth and the totality of the whole story. I am truly thankful for the immense peace God has given me, and I've left everything in his hands. I have a clear conscience. The only judgment that matters is God's. My wife, our children, and I are eternally thankful to Almighty God that the suffering has come to an end, and grateful for all of your condolences. Thanks to those of you who have known the truth from the beginning and haven't let untruths, half-truths, or slander prejudice your opinion.
Baby, let me get this straight. Brian never claimed his older children, and there are receipts of him disowning them, including from days before his son passed. Yet all of a sudden, he's claiming the door of communication was open and he was getting his son doctors and condemning his ex on her child's death, all while she's grieving? Well, allegedly, Brian has still been insisting that Julie was responsible for their son's death. And based on reports, the family is just done with him. And by the way, one of his mistresses just entered the chat and is messy as hell.
Okay, for now, focus here for a minute. Don't worry, their drama will keep going on. Think a little about yourself too. An Indonesian scientist has uncovered a shocking truth about belly fat, and it has nothing to do with diet or exercise. 95% of people who tried this strange bedtime ritual lost 25 pounds or more. Some even dropped over 50, all while sleeping. No gym, no starving, just one simple step before bed. It sounds crazy, but it's backed by science. Tap the link in the description and see for yourself.
Brian does not like black people. Brian does not like the fact that Brian is black. The reason I had an abortion, was confident about having an abortion with him, is because Brian told me out his mouth that, number one, I did not have the it factor to be with him. He already had plans on leaving his wife and his kids before he met me. This thing had nothing to do with me. He told me that the reason he left the reason he left Julie was because he was a bad person and that he couldn't be faithful. He wasn't good to her. And the girl that he's with now, I believe that's the same Asian girl that was in the situation when all of us was together, because there was a whole bunch of us. And we all were like getting each other's messages and text messages, and we all were like finding out about each other. But I believe it's the girl that he's married to now that was doing all that. He causes me great anxiety.
Baby! Okay, recently a source close to Nico's family told Page 6 that Brian did not contact or see Nico and also has not reached out to the family in the wake of his passing. Instead, the source said that Nico was surrounded by an abundance of love and support from those who truly mattered in his final days. This included his mother, Julie McKnight, and his older brother and his wife, among other extended family members. But if you ask Brian McKnight, he will tell you that these are all just lies, and that he kept an open communication with his son and even tried to help with the bills when he learned that Nico had no insurance. But his mother called him and told him to leave Nico alone. Remember, after Nico passed, Brian posted a tribute, and instead of just making it about Nico, he decided that it was a good time to call out the family members, especially his brother Claude and Nico's mom Julie, saying, "A big thanks to Claude McKnight's tasteless and self-aggrandizing announcement on TikTok that frankly was not his to make. In my opinion, he inserted himself and used Nico's death as an opportunity, instead of letting him pass with respect and dignity. It has instead turned into a circus, a mockery of a life now lost, making this tragedy into a reality show type drama." In his post is also where he slammed Nico's mom, saying that she stood in the way of top-notch medical help he allegedly offered Nico. He also said that he had maintained an open door of communication to his son until his passing, but he and his mother refused to accept the help. Brian even called Julie a self-proclaimed mama bear and said that God should have put mercy on her soul for not allowing Nico to accept that help and not allowing him to use that line of communication. He also said, "There is a great comfort in knowing God knows the truth and totality of the whole story. I am truly thankful for the immense peace God has given me. I've left everything in His hands. I have a clear conscience. The only judgment that matters is God's." Basically, Brian was saying that it was Julie's fault that Nico died because she refused to let Nico get help from him. But on the other hand, sources close to Julie said that the way Brian offered that help was very condescending and disrespectful and came with a lot of unrealistic demands. In addition, Julie also made various Instagram posts paying tribute to her late son and kinda addressed Brian McKnight's distance, or at least alluded to it when she said, "He is more than an estranged son." Then a sensational headline: "He is the purest, sweetest human we've been blessed to have. He is a loving husband, caring and playful uncle, the other half to his brother and a fierce protector of his two sisters, a friend and mentor to many, a talented photographer and gifted musician, a son that I was gifted that I will forever be proud of. His legacy of kindness, laughter, generosity, and strength will live on. That's my boy, and I couldn't be prouder. Hashtag Mook, hashtag Mama Bear." Honey, let's just say that people found it ridiculous that Brian McKnight found a way to make the death about him, yet he clearly and publicly disowned his older children. I mean, Brian only acknowledges the kids he has with Leilani, and has even put his stepkids' names in his bio and left out his other children. You know, the fact that he intentionally said in his bio that he is the father to his stepkids and his last born and not his other children made it very clear that it was a purposeful jab at his other children. And as if that wasn't enough, Brian legally changed his name to Brian Kainoa Makoa to match his youngest son's name and made that announcement on Instagram in a very petty way. He captioned his post, "So proud to introduce our son, Brian Kainoa Makoa Jr. to the world with the release of my new album lovingly created for him, because I am also proud to officially announce that I have legally changed my name to exactly match my legacies. McKnight Time Lullabies, the songs of a father to his namesake, available now." And this was after declaring that the boy was his only true legacy.
I make absolutely no apologies for naming my infant son Brian. I want him and the world to know that he is the one who is my true legacy. So I'll be over here, continuing to love and protect my wife and our children as we continue to love our life.
Actually, a couple of days before Nico died, he was also asked how many sons he had, and Brian said he has 3 sons and didn't list any of his older sons. And the embarrassment over the years, child, it's been crazy. Remember, at the time when he was being slammed for abandoning his other kids, Brian admitted that he cut off Brian Jr. and Nico at the ages of 25 and 22, respectively, and claimed that after they left his home, he paid for an apartment for 2 years with the caveat that they had to get a job, which never happened. He also revealed that after he met his current wife, she tried to get jobs for his sons at the hospital where she is a doctor, but neither of them wanted to work there because of drug testing. He also said that Brian Jr. broke into their home and marked X's over the eyes of their wedding photos. And then he brought up his biological daughter and an alleged physical relationship she was having with a much older cousin.
As far as my daughter is concerned, her mother, if you look back at my Instagram, she was a part of this family too, with Jack and Julie and Leilani and myself. And unfortunately, along the way, a couple years ago, I got wind that there was an older cousin who was above 18 who was quite possibly having sex with her. So I called, as a father should, to the state office for children's affairs there in Arizona, and I never heard anything back. But the next thing that her mother did was to block all of us from her social media, from her phone, and completely estranged her from us. So what that told me was they didn't want me to be involved in her life that way.
As for whether the kids have tried to have a relationship with their father, yes. The older kids have said quite a few times that they have tried to rekindle their relationship in vain. Like Brian Jr. previously said that he could not believe that their father straight up abandoned them by writing in a post, "It's hard not to imagine the psyche of a man who can just truly turn his back on his actual sons, on his actual blood and creations. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't think there is any situation that merits the way my father has chosen to treat my brother, my sisters, and his grandchildren, one of which being his firstborn's firstborn son, who also bears our name. It's insane to me." In 2018, Brianna also said that she reached out to Brian in an effort to establish a bond, but she said that her dad dismissed her efforts. As for Nico, he also actually called out his father a few times for abandoning them when he was still alive. For instance, there was a time Brian was receiving backlash for how his biological daughter, Brianna, feels about being disowned, while he praises his stepkids daughter, Julia, online, and instead of acknowledging Brianna, he called Julie his one and only daughter. Then he went on to suggest that his children are evil and a product of sin. According to him, it was necessary to rid them from his life in order for him to find happiness. This is what really got to Nico, and he responded to the comment saying, "I'm evil. That's wild. The guy who used to make me clean his used condoms out his bathroom at 15 before Lisa got home is calling me evil for show." Then in a separate comment, Nico added, "The guy who forged SIGs on our names is evil for show." Again, sometime last year, Nico also talked about the estranged relationship between him and his father when he wrote in a round of tweets, "When I was about to die in the hospital from complications from my cancer, I just wanted to bury the hatchet and hear him say he loves me, and he told me he couldn't arbitrarily tell me he loves me. Still cut so deep. Sometimes I wonder if my dad's karma is my close proximity to death. Like maybe if I end up dying, it'll release him from this grip of evil. If I could just have one more group hug between me, my brother, my mom, and my dad, I'd truly be ready. Every day I feel so embarrassed by how things went with our dad. When you're faced with a situation like mine, it quickly shows you what really matters, and family matters the most. I miss my family so much. Everyone." In other tweets, Nico also said, "We were bad children, sure, yes, but my sisters have always deserved better. They don't deserve this outright disrespect. Hate us all day. You don't get to be a piece of ish forever and still skate by with all that we know. We saved that man from federal prison. That's all I'm going to say. But after all of this, I still love him so much because I know there's my dad in there somewhere. But he's a drone now. So sad. Miss you, Dad." Clearly, based on what Nico said, their dad still was not interested in having a relationship. So people said that it was wild that he said after Nico died that there was a line of communication that was open. And even wilder for him to blame Julie for their son's death, yet she was the present parent. Allegedly, he's even been saying more disgusting things behind the scenes, claiming that Julie is the one who kept him from Nico. Honestly, I personally don't know what to think of what Brian McKnight has been saying. But you let me know if you think it's just insane in the comment section below.